Hello, good afternoon, everyone. How are you doing? This is Chance, and I hope you guys are having a wonderful, wonderful afternoon, no matter where you are around the country or around the world. So, today is a special day for many, many, many reasons. I'm sure you are seeing my guest right here, Mrs. Winnie Anderson. Before we get into what she's all about, check this out. Today marks the official 100 days countdown of 2018. So, it's very imperative that we make some serious moves and decisions to finish the year strong. And that's why I've decided to bring on today's guest, Winnie Anderson. Winnie Anderson is an author, she is a coach, she's a consultant, and she has her own podcast. I'll let her introduce herself. So Winnie, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we're going to talk about how people can up-level their life, finish this year strong in the remaining 100 days. Take it away.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for having me on, Chance. I really appreciate this, and I always love talking with you, and I'm so excited to share this information with your audience. So I am a business coach, I am an accountability coach, and I work with what I refer to as passionate introverts, people who are mission-driven, who are introverted, but who are really ready to get their message out in a bigger, more powerful way. And yes, I'm the host of the Courageous Entrepreneur Show. That's the podcast that shares information and inspiration to help people break free from self-doubt, limiting beliefs, and disempowering patterns, all those things that can hold us back and keep us from creating the success that we really dream of.
Awesome.
And deserve. I want to add.
I like that. Now, you mentioned specifically, introverts. So that's very important. I know a lot of different type of people are on this one, but we want to give credence today to those folks who have that message, like you were saying, inside themselves, but for whatever reason, they kind of lack the confidence, and they have that inner voice, that inner critic that is kind of holding them back. So today you have come on here to talk to us about how to have constant confidence. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, confidence is really something that it ebbs and flows, right? It is a spectrum, and you can think about it in this way, right? It's a spectrum where we either are feeling bad because we really don't have the confidence that we feel we need, or we are we've got it. Feel good. Yeah. Let me
go ahead.
I thought I had turned off my phone. So let me make sure I do
right
that.
Now, go ahead and share this out. For some other folks who can benefit from it. I'm trying to share it out while she's also speaking. So share it.
So the issue with constant confidence is that we're going to just admit that our confidence does ebb and flow depending on circumstances and situations. Mm-hmm. And how you're able to develop constant confidence is, first of all, you're able to recognize things that trigger you to feel less than confident. Things that trigger those self-doubts and that sensation that I don't want to do this, I'm afraid, I'm not going to be good enough to achieve whatever it is that we're talking about. Constant confidence comes from you able to recognize that, and then you're able to work through things pretty quickly and summon the confidence that you need to take action. So I'm not talking about that, tomorrow you're going to suddenly be standing on the corner of Main Street and getting your message out. Right. But what I am talking about is that you're going to be able to recognize that, okay, it's just this one step that I need to take. Because actually, confidence is like a muscle, mm-hmm. right? Just like every muscle gets stronger with action and activity, so does confidence. So it takes just a small step to start building that momentum. So it's okay to have self-doubt as long as you don't allow that to really trap you and keep you stuck.
That is so true. What I'd like you to share, of course, we're going to build up to it, but I'd really like you to give some tips because, like we said, one of the things that is stopping people from being bold and being confident, which is required to finish any quarter, right? This is the last quarter that we are going into pretty soon of the year. And so many people are behind on some of their dreams, their goals, their visions. And part of it is because they have been afraid. And it could be anyone from any background, whether it's business, whether it's spiritual life, or even at home, families and relationships. Sometimes people don't have the confidence in their relationship, and it can also cause it to go downhill swiftly. So how can somebody, first of all, identify what are some of those limiting, critical voice within themselves, or the self-doubt? How can they first identify that they're having these things?
Right. So everything starts with awareness. So one thing that I think we all need to do is to really just start tuning into that monologue that we're having in our head. Because whether we like to admit it or not, we're talking to ourselves all day, right? There's this little voice that goes on inside our head, and it says, oh, you're hungry, go get something to eat. It says, it's time for you to get ready to talk to Chance. It says, I don't really want to talk to Chance. Maybe I should go do something else in the meantime, right? So
True.
that voice is what is really dictating our behavior a lot of times. So even just tuning in and acknowledging that you have it, and then start listening to what it's telling you. One of the most obvious ways and the easiest ways that you can start tuning in is this simple example. So how many people stub their toe or have stubbed their toe in the middle of the night? Right? You get up to go to the bathroom, or you get up, in my case, to feed the cat, and it's dark, you're groggy, you're half asleep, and you stub your toe on the bed. What do you say to yourself? If you're like many people, you say something that is not able to be vocalized on a family show, right? And at a minimum, you call yourself a jerk. Right? So it's that kind of negative self-talk that you want to suddenly become aware of, and how pervasive it is. Because, Chance, you would never tell your wife, you big jerk, because she stubbed her toe, right? There's no way you would do that. You wouldn't say that to your friend.
Yeah.
But we say that to ourselves. So we become our own bully. And it's that monologue that we're having, the inner critic, who I call the enemy, who is actually hurting us and trying to keep us safe. Part of it is the ego. The ego doesn't want you to go out and take some big chance and not look good and embarrass yourself. But there's also this element of our own fear and resistance, and that keeps us stuck in one place. We're listening, actually. So where does that negativity come from? It comes from conditioning that we've experienced throughout our lives. And what we're listening to is really the voice of a memory. So it's really confronting, where did that voice come from? Because it's not you. You didn't know to call yourself a jerk. Somebody planted that seed in your head.
Yeah, very well said. Gail commented here that she has a lot of voices in her head. Zig Ziglar used to say, it's okay to talk to yourself, but when you start talking back, like you said, and then yes, that's me. We have some issues. But no, I mean, sometimes it's comical, but you're right, that dialogue keeps going on in our head, and I see it all the time. Even like you said, sometimes you feel like there's a task. Like for myself, I'm into writing, entrepreneurship, preaching, pastoring, and so forth, and so it can seem overwhelming. Managing so many people at times, and you get these negative stuff. Well, it's like, maybe it's not worth it. Maybe they will never turn around. They will never change. And so we project these things that are not even reality sometimes. It's
That's right.
Stuff that we make up in our own minds. So for those who are here today, we are talking with Winnie Anderson. She's giving us some tips on how we can deal with that inner voice, that inner critic, the self-doubt, so we can lead a life of confidence, even if we are introverts. So take us a little bit of the mindset of an introvert. Who's an introvert and what is considered being introverted?
Yeah, so an introvert it truly has been wired differently, right? It's the age-old battle, nature and nurture. The answer is yes, right? It's both. And introverts, just like extroverts, are wired differently, and personality, of course, is a spectrum. So with ambivert in the center. So an ambivert is somebody who sits in the center and has a little bit of both.
Okay.
But the people who have introversion, they tend to lean that way, and we are people who have energy inside of us, and we do not look outside of ourselves for that energy, right? We don't get energized by spending time with other people. Not that we're antisocial, that's not it. But an extrovert actually goes to a big party, a big event. They experience, right? Think of the conferences that you go to, right? An extrovert will go to those sessions with hundreds of people. They'll go to all the parties, all the events, and they'll feel very energized. An introvert like me needs to manage their state, physically and mentally, because I can go to those big group events, but then I need to go and I need to hide for a few minutes, and I need to just recharge my batteries, because it can feel very overwhelming to have the sights, the sounds. We're kind of a little on the sensitive side from all of that external stimulation bombarding us. So people tend to think that introverts are shy. That's not always the case. And it's not that we're antisocial. It's that we are very much in our heads and in our hearts. But a passionate introvert is somebody who recognizes that they would rather stay home and read a book than go out with friends, right? But they recognize, especially in the area of the message that they have, that their message is more important than they are.
Right on.
And
yeah, go ahead. Go finish it.
And they're willing to push past their discomfort. They're willing to face the challenge to get that message out, because they know they are meant to help people.
And that's the key, I'm saying, because for me, I feel like I have a little bit of both, but I'm more on the introverted spectrum as well. Because you're right, that's why I have a whole lot of books. I like to write books. I like, you know what I mean?
Right.
But for me, because of, my upbringing and my background, in the military, got into ministry and these different things, I have to deal with so many people. So I learn how to be extroverted when I need to, because I have to lead people, I have to lead projects, but doing that for a prolonged period of time does burn me out as well. So I have to, find my little nest where I recoup and I re-energize, and most of the times that's like pretty much on a Sunday and a Monday. Those are the two main days I get to, just decompress, not be around so many people, so I can recharge again to put back out as much energy that is necessary for, from Tuesday until Saturday. So I'm hearing what you're saying, because if we say, well, I'm introverted, and I'm glad you dispel a myth, because many people think that introverts are just shy and reclusive only, but no, that's not necessarily the case. And by the way, neither is better than the other, because sometimes introverts are like, well, man, I wish I was like that extroverted person, and sometimes the extrovert is like, man, I wish I was cool, calm, and collected like you are.
Right. That's exactly right. And so back to awareness, the issue here, so to have that big breakthrough for that fourth quarter, one of the big ways is to really tune into who you are, how you're made up.
Yes.
Recognize, like Chance has, that, okay, I need this time to recharge. And back to the family issue, because we know that a lot of times opposites attract, right? So my husband is not an introvert. Not as much an introvert as I am. So I have to really prepare myself for when he comes home, because of course he wants some attention, and I want to give him that conversation. But when I really want to go, look, I've been on Facebook Live all day. I can't. So to respect that, but then of course helping that person understand, hey, I'm not it's not that I don't love you. It's not that I don't care. I need some time to recharge my batteries, and then I can give you the best of my attention. So really think about your own state and how you can leverage that. When do you do your best work? How can you give more to get your message out and really do it with energy and passion?
Okay, so while we all want the confidence, and it is good, I think most of the time we definitely need to be, but is there a time when maybe confidence can be a little bit overrated or too much, or having a lack of confidence may not be a bad thing?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And that seems like such an odd thing. Like, how can you possibly say that sometimes being confident is not always good? Because confidence does not equal competence. So sometimes that signal to yourself, that a little bit of nervousness, I don't know if I should do that. So again, awareness, you want to step back and say, now, am I questioning ability that I really do have, or do I just know I don't have that? It's not my genius zone. I'm not doing it, right? Because we get all kinds of opportunities that get waved to us, right? And maybe I'm just not ready yet. And you know what? I don't want to promote people giving into their fears or resistance, but there are ways that you can build up your confidence. Like, for example, doing Facebook Lives, right? I've had people tell me, I don't know how you do that. I could never do it. Well, I've been doing video for longer than there have been Facebook Lives, right? So the fact that the camera's live, I'm not that I'm not nervous, right? I'm always a little bit nervous, but I know that I have a basic comfort with this, so I'm willing to push myself out. So one of the things I do with my Facebook group is I do Movie Mondays, right? Where people who want to push themselves, they can do it safely by practicing in that little group. Okay. You can do it yourself by doing a Facebook Live and just not going live, right? And then you can delete it. So it is the signal that I'm not confident could be something that you want to ask yourself, is this a skill issue? And if it's a skill issue, do I have the capacity to learn it? Most of the time, yes, right? Really, most of the time, yes. What happens is we want to go from elementary to graduate school in one big leap, right? That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But it takes these little steps.
If people are processing what you're saying, because this is a positive thing, this is a positive aspect, because what I hear you saying and what I can apply is this. If you lack confidence in a particular thing, especially when it comes to a project or something, it might just mean it's not your thing. And so therefore, there's no sense pushing yourself to get it done, because we are more confident and competent in those areas that we are gifted at. So I see that even sometimes. There are folks who, in my space, some people want to sing in the choir. And I'm saying, bless your heart. Like make a joyful noise. But this might not be your thing. So it's not necessarily if you are saying, well, maybe, I really want to sing the choir. I can't make the choir, I can't make the list or whatever. It's not necessarily a bad thing if you don't have confidence. It's just revealing that you may not be competent enough in this area. Right. But like you're saying, because you're going to share with us how to manage our confidence. But the thing is to know where you are. And if indeed it is something that you don't really want to do because you're not good at it, then that's not really bad at all. Is that more or less what I'm hearing you saying?
That is more or less what I'm saying. What you don't want to allow yourself to do is to constantly go, oh, well, I can't learn that. Oh, well, that's just
on the flip side.
Right. Right. So it's that balance, because there are things as entrepreneurs especially that we just need to learn enough about in order to manage it. So you don't want to abdicate responsibility, right? You don't want to say, I don't know anything about managing numbers, so I'm not going to manage my money. And then abdicate to your financial manager or your accountant, and who knows, you could end up being embezzled, right? So you got to know enough to manage your business. That's really not it. But yeah, it might be a signal to you that you need to spend more time in learning that skill. You want to crawl before you start to run, kind of. kind of thing.
Yeah.
But usually it's that we're trying to do too much. So here's a great tip for how you can start to recognize that you have the skills and they just need to be polished, right? This is where perfectionism and overcoming perfectionism and focusing on the pursuit of excellence come in. So a friend of mine who is a confidence coach, she has a great exercise. She has you hold up a piece of paper, right, like this, and just divide it down the center, or you can fold it in half, right? So on one side, you want to write down the skills that are required in whatever thing it is that you're being called to do. Mm-hmm. And doing a Facebook Live is a great example, right? What are the skills that are required? Well, speak, right? I have to be able to talk. I have to be able to put my thoughts together. I have to be able to operate the camera and operate Facebook, right? So some basic technology. So you start listing those things, those skills that are needed to do the thing that you want to do. Mm-hmm. Then on the other side, you can start listing all the skills you already have that are similar. Because what happens with the brain, it takes in new information and it tries to match it up with old information. So if you can help the brain make a connection between what you're being called on to do and what you've actually done in the past, so you can say we've done this kind of thing before. And then here's a big trick that is based on science that is just starting to really get some buzz out there. Talk to yourself, but talk to yourself in this way. Talk to yourself in the third person. So Chance, for example, would say, Chance, we've done these things before. Sure, we've never been on, let's just say, a panel before, but we've done Facebook Lives before. You've done Facebook Lives before. So you talk to yourself as if you're outside of your body and somebody else is talking to you, because your brain, right, we've all heard this, your brain doesn't know what is the exact reality, right? That's part of abundance and creating the abundance thinking. Well, in this way, your brain doesn't know it's not you. So when you say, now, Chance, you've done these things before, this new thing is calling on these skills and they're very similar, you can do this, so just go ahead and book the date, you're going to be fine. It really does work to convince your brain, we've got those skills, we're going to be fine. So that's just a little trick on how you can do that.
And it's a form of drowning out or drowning out the critic, the negative aspect.
That's right.
Of what, so you're reinforcing what is good and positive. And so for someone here, well, let me give a shout out to some folks here. Chef Edgar, man, Chef, thank you for coming on. I definitely want to have confidence cooking like you can cook, so I will just leave that alone. Gail Turner Brown, all the way from Colombia. I think you are visiting all the way from Colombia. I hope you're eating well over there too. Eric, very informative. Thank you very much. Mr. Brooks is on there. How you doing, sir? And so many others. Roman Alcantara, Dr. Cooper, I think, is all the way in Virginia. So wow. We appreciate you guys for checking in. Also, let me just throw a little caveat here too, because we have some faith-based people on here as well, because this applies also. So let me just show you how we can apply that. Sometimes you might be discouraged, defeated, right? So scripture says, let the weak say, I am strong. So in other words, just keep saying your head down, oh, I'm always being defeated, I can't overcome. It said, let the weak say, I am strong. For those who are always broken, poor, disgusted, and so forth, he says also, let the poor say, I am rich. Rich in what? Rich in everything that God has given to you. So it's the same thing. It's nothing really different. It's just another way of applying it. So these principles apply to all of us, because sometimes I think we discourage ourselves and then we blame God with all of our negativity. The point is that God wants you to speak positive. If we serve an almighty God and you feel that you have a great God, a big God, then why speak in a discouraged, defeated manner? Say, give me strength. The Lord is my strength. That's how David spoke in the book of Psalms. So this is the same type of stuff. David spoke to himself in positive ways. Yes?
Amen. Amen. Absolutely. And as Paul said, that the hand doesn't say, oh, well, I'm just a hand, I'm not an arm.
Right, I'm insignificant.
Right?
No, we're good for nothing.
Exactly right. So we were gifted with certain things, and at the same time, God needs us to step up and stand up and be the leaders that He called us to be, because not everybody is an entrepreneur.
True.
Right? So this is truly a calling and a mission that you're on.
Yeah.
And if it was easy, everybody would do it. Right? So yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, like with Moses and Joshua, after that episode where they were turning over leadership, he called Joshua, Joshua 1. He talked about don't be discouraged. Have not I commanded you, be strong and courageous entrepreneur, courageous whatever in leadership. Have not I commanded? I've called you to this. Like, you can do it because it's not only you have the support and so forth. So give us some strategies now for those who are still on here. We want to get some strategy. How do we manage our confidence levels? Like, how do we, keep it going or maintain it when we notice it's dipping? How can we manage it?
So one is stop with the fake it till you make it stuff.
Whoa, watch out now. We all were told that.
Right. And in my opinion, it's crap.
Okay.
Because you are smart enough to know you're faking it. There is no shame in admitting that you don't know something. Now, at the same time, it's through challenge that a muscle grows stronger, right? So I tell folks all the time, choose faith, not fear. So if you really are, as you just said, if you really are a faithful person, you connect that I have the faith that this is going to work, and I'm going to take that small step. You don't pick up a 100-pound dumbbell, right, when you've never lifted weights. You start with a 5 and work your way up.
That's right.
So start with a small movement that is going to help you build that confidence. Then continue to talk to yourself in a positive way, number one. Number two, stop overscheduling yourself, right? Awareness, and you're in control of your calendar. But when you need to plan in time to consciously practice whatever skill it is that you're trying to acquire. So Chance didn't just decide yesterday he's going to start doing Facebook Lives. He started this a while ago and has built up to the quality that he now does. So another tip is to stop expecting that you're going to be an Oscar winner the first video that you do.
That's
okay? Right? Your first is always your worst, and you just keep getting better. So manage your expectations. Start with one small step. Stop overscheduling yourself so that you have more time to actually practice and build your confidence. Talk to yourself in the third person. Gail, I know you can do this, etc. And actually then stay in your genius zone as much as you possibly can and build up to making that big leap. Start with small steps.
Amen. Now, here's the thing. Just like this, right? You were mentioning weights. These are my wife's weights right here. So it's 5 pounds you work with, okay? So, but I got the big boys right here.
Exactly right.
So she's not going to go from here to here all of a sudden. Now, I'm going to start right here. Well, obviously different pounds, but, so... When you mentioned weights, I just went to grab it because, this is my office, so I do a little workout right here. Because that's one of my 100-day goals also to finish. I really need to pick up the pace a little bit myself on the health piece as far as toning and so forth. So that's one of my goals. Because as you're saying, these are some of the strategies I'm going to, incorporate as well. Dr. Cooper is on here and Chef Edgar, so sometimes it's embarrassing. But nonetheless, but even sometimes, the best of us, we all get off track. And those are some of the same thing I was saying to myself. I'm excusing, well, man, I can do it next week. It's not so bad. I mean, I'm really not that out of shape, so I don't have to push myself that much. And after a while, you really realize, honestly, you are not really fully committed or really working hard on your goals. So now I'm like, okay, well, I want to end strong in that department. So that's one of my 100-day goals to really finish better in that department?
So let me address something there that is so important, Chance, and that's willpower. Mm-hmm. Right? Because you then start telling yourself, oh, I don't have any willpower. I can't avoid that yummy food. I can't get myself to work out on a regular basis. Willpower is a spectrum as well. And again, back to awareness. So recognize that am I strongest with willpower in the morning? Most people usually are. So do I budget some time to focus on my most important goal when I start my day, whenever you start your day? I don't care if you start your day at 10 o'clock. Do I budget time to focus on my goal first thing, or do I go into Facebook, do I open my email, and then my day gets hijacked? Or do I dedicate this time? And another problem we run into is we look at, we create these to-do lists that no normal human could achieve in a week, and that's our daily to-do list, right? So then what do we focus on? We focus on what did not get done instead of celebrating what did get done. So that requires kind of a shift in mindset. Again, stop overscheduling yourself. Stop putting so much in one day, and then recognize that big goal, you didn't write those books in one day.
No
right?
way.
No. Right? But if you didn't even take 15 minutes one day to think about what's my table of contents, it would never have gotten written. So you can write a book in 15-minute blocks. It's the judging, the self-judgment that we put on ourselves that, well, it's not worth doing if I don't have an hour. That's BS. Right? That's just really false. You can do anything. You can climb a mountain it's just one step, right? Repeat it over and over and over again. So break things down into these small pieces. Don't overschedule, and celebrate what you're actually achieving, because that's going to make your confidence meter rise, because you're like, I can do this. I'm making progress. I'm going to achieve this.
Hey, that's all right. That's all right. That's some good word right there. Now, I know you have some ways to help folks. So as we wind down here, again, let me give a shout out. There's some new folks just came on. Hey, my wife is watching. Good stuff.
Yay.
Jessica, how are you doing? Mr. Mumba, good to see you. I'm not sure where you're from. Dr. Cooper said, it's a good quotation here. Someone said, the journey of a million steps starts with one step. That's right. And in Africa, they have a saying also that goes along the same. Bichana, bit by bit. Take it step by step.
Exactly.
And you're going to get there. All right. Jonathan is on here. Appreciate you guys. Everybody appreciate you. Oh, my good friend Martin Valdez. How you doing, sir? Blessings on you. We appreciate all of you guys. Now, we're going to wind down here, but I got two main things I really want you to do, right? I'm going to ask you for your number one tip, your one of your top strategic secrets to really mastering this thing. And then, of course, I want you to tell us a little bit about how you can help people, or if you have any materials that folks can continue learning with you. Now, here's the thing, though. Those who have been listening to us today, I'm on with Winnie Anderson, author, business coach, podcast host, and all those wonderful things. You can check her out at winnieanderson.com. Now, here's the thing, though. Today marks the 100 days countdown for 2018. Like, the year is going to be end. We are approaching now the final quarter. And I want you to really take it seriously, because time is all we have. Now, we can moan and groan about what we didn't do in the first 3 quarters, or we can say, listen, what are the key things that I can do to make up or to be able to finish strong? So in other words, as Winnie said, I don't want you to go now and set a whole bunch of goals for the end of the year. Because actually, some of those goals we set in the beginning of the year were really not true stuff, because really and truly, they probably were too many anyways. So the ones you got accomplished were probably the ones that were really important. And even for myself, right, I work with John Lee Dumas's 100-day mastery journals. I have 2 versions of them. And so that's how I set all my goals for the whole year. I go by 100 days, then I restart 100 days, 100 days. So here's really what I want you guys to focus on. This is the last quarter. What are you going to achieve that will be like exponential in any other area of your life? Don't think about petty little goals like, I need to, I don't know, but maybe something big that can make a difference. Like, for example, financially, maybe you might want to pay off a debt, a credit card, or something like that. That can make a big impact because that can improve your credit score, maybe help you to get another loan for the new year or something in some other area. Okay, relationship. Maybe you can say, hey, you know what, I'm going to actually focus this last quarter on improving my marriage, improving my parenting skill, or becoming the best version of myself health-wise. I'm going to lose 10 pounds. I'm actually going to get serious. I'm going to get committed. Dr. Cooper is on here. Chef Edgar is on here. I'm going to improve my health, my eating habits, whatever it is. But make it tangible where if you do it, by the time, December 31st rolls around, you'll be like, wow, this made a whole difference. And I have found if you improve your money, your health, or your relationship, trust me, it really spills over into every other area of your life. And so for those who want to have the edge on the entrepreneurship journey, this is what Winnie is going to share with you. And then I'll wrap up with something especially for my friends of faith on this program today. So Winnie, take it away. Give us your one tip. What is one super strategic secret that if somebody applied today, they can master this thing about confidence?
Okay, so here it is. It's my best tip. And as a bonus, I'll give you the book that has made the biggest difference to me, other than the Bible, of course. The book that's made the biggest difference to me in the last 2 years. So my big strategic tip, detach from the outcome. And what that means is recognize that your self-worth is not tied to your business. It's not tied to achieving that goal at all. It's not tied to anything outside of yourself. Your self-worth is already inside of you, and you do not need to get your needs met through some external means. You are already whole. You are already loved. You are already a success. It grows outside from you, from inside of you. It's not outside to be gotten. So as soon as you can remove the emotional connection to what you're trying to achieve, the faster you'll start to achieve the success that you're chasing. It'll start coming to you. And then the book that has meant the most to me, I read a book called Finish by Jon Acuff, Jon Acuff. And if you have been wrestling with perfectionistic tendencies, that book will help you really confront what you're still dealing with and allow you to move forward faster.
You said it was Finished by Jon Acuff?
Right.
Okay, I'm putting it in the chat here.
Great. So yeah, detach from the outcome. I'm telling you, as soon as you recognize that love is already inside of you, everything you have is already inside of you, it was given to you by the divine, then you don't have to chase. You don't have to feel bad.
Awesome. And how can folks connect with you to learn more, to be able to, master or up level with you?
Yes, I have some free training that is coming up. So the best way to connect with me is through Facebook. You can find me on Facebook. My business page is Courageous Success. So facebook.com/Courageous Success. And my personal page is Winnie.Anderson1. So facebook.com/Winnie.Anderson1. I have a Facebook group called the Courageous Entrepreneur Lab, and it is for introverts or ambiverts who lean towards introversion, who are passionate about the mission that they have been blessed with, and who are ready to make the impact that they were put here to do.
Awesome. So give us one more time the Facebook name. Is it facebook.com/Courageous Success?
That's my business page, yes. Okay. And the business page, or the Facebook group, is the Courageous Entrepreneur Lab. and I don't remember if the is in front of it or not. So
okay,
we can add that later if we need to.
No problem. So yes, you guys please go check out. Oh man, Mr. Perez came in. David Perez, this is a go-getter, mover right here.
Awesome.
You just catching the end of it. Today we've been speaking with the fabulous Winnie Anderson. Author, business coach, strategist, and all of that good jazz. She has been sharing with us how to remain confident and how to be able to silence that inner critic and self-doubt, but also most importantly to be able to take charge of our lives, career, and business. So I hope that you have been blessed today. Listen, 100 days from now, how would you finish 2018? No excuse, none of that. You've just gotten some tips today to be able to up-level your life, any area of your life. I want you to set no more than 3 main powerful goals that if you achieve any of those 3, it will make a big impact. You might want to start by going to Winnie's websites and her Facebook page and be able to learn from her. So that way you can have tangible outcomes before the year is out, because she has some practical stuff. And then for my friends, people of faith on here too, some of you, many of you I know, listen, your God has given you all that you need already, right? We know that he has mercy and grace, but he's powerful. And so many times we limit him. If he says he can do all things, without him, everything becomes a problem for us. But listen, if nothing is impossible for him, why don't we attempt greater things? I want you to try something bold and finish the year seriously on a powerful note. I want you to muster up all the courage that there is, right? That's our stuff. Courageous entrepreneur. So I want you to be the courageous mom, courageous dad, courageous whatever it is that you're doing. A student, I want you to up level for the rest of the year and end 2018 on a bang. If we can help you, reach out to me, follow us, like, comment, and share this. Thank you all for joining us today. We appreciate you. May God bless you and enjoy the last quarter of 2018. Bye-bye.